And not only that, but evaluating ourselves. We're going to have a lot of new faces out there, and I'm not sure how those guys are going to respond in game time. I think I have an idea, but that remains to be seen. But yeah, the thing about Stanford is really calculated in their approach, and they haven't deviated a lot from what they've done going back to 2016. They are what they are. They're going to play a physical brand of ball, a lot of different personnel groups, and from a personnel standpoint, I don't know what they're going to throw out there, but I know they're going to be tough, intelligent kids that are going to be assignment sharp and disciplined, and so we're definitely going to have our hands full.
Any similarities between the offense K-State runs and what Stanford does, or is it just more?
Very similar in the approach, a little bit different in the presentation. Multiple personnel groups, run-orientated. We do probably a little bit more trade shift and motion than they do. They're more into checking plays, so they want to see your picture so they can get into different things, whereas our offense is going to try to confuse you maybe a little bit more with the pictures. But, it's been good practice for about 9 months here.
How much do you anticipate the new faces in the secondary having to just go through some growing pains communication-wise when the bullets start flying?
Boy, I hope not. I hope we've got through as much of that as we can. I'm sure there's going to be some adversity. And, what I'm excited about is how mature we've become and how we'll handle that adversity, as opposed to, a year ago where maybe that would have crushed us. And so we're older. Guys have, even though they're wearing a new uniform, there's some guys that have been in the fire before. You look at Russ Yeast, you look at Sincere Mason, Reggie Stubblefield, Julius Brents, all guys that have played in games at other institutions, and they're just going to be doing it now for the Cats.
Echo Boyd kind of told us he was kind of expecting the ball thrown his way a little bit more this year just because of Julius Brent's presence on the other side. Is that something you kind of anticipate?
Potentially. Julius is a dude. But the fact of the matter is nobody knows anything about him other than the people in this building. He doesn't have a great body of work right now. That's something that's going to be continuing to culminate over the next few weeks. So I hope that Echo gets a ton of balls thrown at him because he's playing at a high level right now.
The extra linebacker that's listed on the depth chart this week, is that just for the Stanford game, and we see more of a nickelback look than others?
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of different personnel groups from Stanford, and we'll probably match those personnel groups to a degree. But philosophically, we went through spring ball without a nickel, and we were able to do some things, and so we're going to experiment with that a little bit more. It's not going to be an exclusive thing, but we'll see some three linebacker things out there at times.
Are you able to get a little more advanced with your guys now?
We're getting there. We're getting there. It's still a work in progress. We're still, even through last week, we were still shuffling guys around positionally, and it's tough to graduate until you really are settled into a position. Maybe it's a free safety moving to strong, or a strong safety moving to nickel, or whatever the case may be. They're little moves, but until you see repeated pictures, you're not quite comfortable with what you're doing. And when you're not quite comfortable with what you're doing, I don't feel comfortable pushing the envelope. But I'm hoping in the next couple months we're able to do that.
As a coordinator, do you find yourself wrestling with keeping it simple so they can play fast, and also being creative to confuse the offense?
Daily, yeah, daily. And and I think that's why we've got such a great staff that is always on the other end of that thing, pulling me. I seem to be. There's days I want to push ahead and go through some of the growing pains, and they kind of saddle me back. And then there's other days where I'd like to saddle back, and they said, "Nah, let's go ahead." And we never seem to be on the same page with that. But that's just a constant evaluation that I have to make, and we try to. At the end of the day, I think whether it's Stanford or whoever we play, if we can get 11 sets of cleats in the ground and we can get our eyes right, I think we'll have success.
Stanford tailback Jones, have you seen any similarities between him and a Big 12 tailback?
Oh boy, that's there's been a lot of great tailbacks. He's a physical, hard-nosed runner, difficult to bring down, strong, disciplined. He's not a guy that's going to make undisciplined runs. He's not a guy that's going to have poor ball security. He's very good in pass protection. Very good as a route runner. He's played I don't know how many games there, dozens. So we're gonna have our hands full with him.
Much of a difference between the two quarterbacks that you might Wednesday?
I don't think so. I mean, I do think there are slight differences between, one may be slightly a better thrower, the other might be slightly more athletic, but they're cut from the same cloth. They're both guys that are, to have success at Stanford, I believe you have to really have a great mastery of the system, and I feel like that they're similar in that regard. We're not dealing with opposite extremes with those two guys.
Qualities of maybe Austin Moore, why he's probably going to see the field on Saturday?
Yeah, he'll see the field on Saturday. He's just steady Eddie. I mean, he's just he's going to be not going to wow you with any one thing in particular, but he's just going to steadily be correct, and he's going to be physical. He's going to be hard-nosed. He's going to play his tail off, and that's why he's earned where he is on the depth chart right now.
In your mind, why do you think Timmy Horn will make a good captain?
He's probably one of the more vocal guys we have. Just yesterday after practice, he grabbed everybody and said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to watch film tonight at 8. Anybody wants to come and join me?" Things like that just we haven't had since we've been here. Guys that just are that outward with it. He's taken full advantage of his situation. He came here. Obviously wanted to play in the Big 12, but he's also wanted to probably reinvent himself a little bit, and he has not wasted a minute of doing that.
What's the comfort level you've seen of your linebacker tandem?
Oh, I feel very good. I feel very good. They feel very good working together. Deuce is playing Deuce Green is playing at as high of a level as I've seen since I've been here. Just fast and seeing things really well. Cody Fletcher is, again, another steady Eddie character that's just has the ability to make plays. He's doing so much better in his pass rush things. He's doing so much better in his coverage. Those are some of the things that he's worked on in the offseason. I feel really rock solid with those two guys out there.
When you got Ryan and Wayne listed at the same spot at linebacker, and they've never actually played it before in a game, does it give you nerves as a coach going into it?
No, I mean, I don't think there's a team on the earth that's taken more snaps in spring ball and fall camp than us. Just the style of practice that we implement, and they've definitely been forged by fire, and they've been great in practice. Again, I don't know how they're going to respond in games when things are a little bit different, especially early. But they're quality kids. They're intelligent football players. Wayne's been in the fire before, albeit seeing it from a different angle. So, and Ryan has too. Ryan's played a decent amount last year. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Anything else?
You have to adjust it all being so far away from the field there in Arlington?
Well, going to make a little switch probably this year, and I'll probably be on the field now. Something that we talked about as Coach Klanderman and myself, and just a number of factors, I guess, but want to have a closer connection with the players on game day. Want to be able to communicate with those guys a little bit more directly, maybe have my hands on the pulse a little bit more. And I've done that in the past and felt comfortable. The last 6 years or so I've been in the box, and so it'll be a change for me. But I felt like as a play caller in the box, I got maybe too analytical. I'm on my charts and I'm on my stuff, and I got maybe away from my gut a little bit more than I would like to. And hopefully being down there in the heat, seeing a corner that's tired, or what I mean, just being able to be getting sweaty, I think will help me as a play caller too.
Does that send somebody from your defensive staff upstairs?
Coach Stanford will be upstairs, the linebacker coach. So got great eye. He's been up there years and years, so he'll be. That's where he'll be.